Hey, guys. What's going on? We're making a great video today. We're going to be kind of finishing up the final projects here. This is hopefully the last video that you will really need in order to make, to make everything for Autodesk for those requirements. And we'll be able to buckle in here. What I did was I made sort of I don't want to say bad, but kind of a very quick version of a candy dispenser. So this is, which I actually named box right here. So I have my box dispenser. You can see there's a hole right there. The candy could fall in. You rotate it, the candy falls out, right? I have a box rod right here. I have box sides. I have other sides, which are slightly different dimensions. I have a box top. And I started myself an assembly file. So we're going to go through three things today. We're going to talk about how to assemble something, how to explode your assembly, very exciting, and how to make a drawing from that exploded view, including a parts list. So let's jump in here. First of all, you can see I made kind of a lot of different parts, right? Now, you have some leeway, like if you want to make one box that has all four sides in it and you want to just call that one part, you can. That's okay. I would tend towards thinking about how you actually make it in real life, like every distinct part in real life. Maybe you want to go the route of having a distinct part in Autodesk for it. But if you think something else makes sense, or it's too much work to make every single individual part, you want to combine some of them, that's okay. That can be done. So let's jump into the actual skills that you're going to need here. This is a new assembly file. Let's go ahead and click place and grab some of the things. So now I named them all the same thing right here, right? So box, probably should have gone with something like candy dispenser, but naming all of your parts the same thing is extremely helpful while creating it. And of course, making sure they're all saved in your folder in the proper place. It's going to allow you to find them later. So let's just go ahead and start placing them. Let's open it up and we'll see if this thing works here. Okay, there we go. So we'll place our dispenser. There we go. Perfect. Let's hit escape now so we don't place another one. Now let's place another part here. Let's place the rod. We'll open that up and there we go. Hit escape so we don't place another one. Place here. Now let's place the sides. Let's go. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to place one and I'm going to place two of these. Okay, perfect. And now let's click place and box sides two. Okay, let's place one, two of those. And is there anything else? One, two. Oh, the top. Yes, of course. Better do that. The box top. And we'll place our box top right there. Perfect. So you can see we have all five parts sort of laid out, ready to go. We have a couple versions of each. Now I want to show you guys a couple of things. If you don't know them already, you probably do, but this is the zoom wheel on your mouse is sort of a magical thing here that can allow you to really move quickly. You can zoom in or out by rolling it. If you click it, you can then move and pan around the screen. And if you hold shift and click it, then you can rotate everything and you can get super lost. It's great. Here we go. Oh boy. Now we got to find our way back home. Let's see. Let's do one of those. Okay. Pan. All right, there we go. So that looks good. So using those three shortcuts can enable you to move around a lot quicker and can help you out. Okay, so when we start assembling, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to designate one piece as my base. Now, if you notice everything in here so far, it can move. And if you choose free rotate, you can freely rotate it as well. But we want to pick one thing that is just going to be our base and it's not going to move. It's not going to rotate, nothing like that. So before I do anything to this one, I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to choose ground it. So that's going to ground it. Now, if you notice, I can't click on it. I can't do anything to it, right? A little pin thing pops up when I select it to show me like, hey, you can't move it at all. So there you go. That is now grounded. Now what I'm going to do is with my ungrounded components, I'm going to use the kind of the views here and I'm going to try to shift them into approximately their proper locations here. Okay, so there we go. That's close enough. This one needs to come over here and we need to rotate it a little bit. So let's rotate it. Now this does not have to be perfect or even close to perfect. As you can see, I'm just doing a very loose job here. Let's see, let's rotate this one. And I'm gonna try to go a little bit faster. My practice video ended up running a little bit long. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, there we go. Now let's pull the top over there, and we'll leave sort of the rod and the dispenser off to the side. And there we go. We have things kind of, it's pretty ugly, but they're approximately in the right position. So let's start adding some constraints here. Now we're going to be using two constraints. The mate constraint, which has two possible solutions. One's called a mate. When you mate two things, you stick them together like that. When you flush two options, you bring them to an equal level like that. So we're going to be using both of those. We're also going to use the insert. Now the insert could sort of go and, but that's what we're going to use obviously to like insert the rod into the hole in the dispenser or into the hole in the side of the box that you can see right there. So those are what we're going to be using. Let's actually get it started right here, right now with the mate. And we're going to just do a plain mate. And we're going to mate this edge of the box right here to this edge of the box, and let's apply that, and you can see it pops into place, right? So now I've done the mate. Let's apply a flush, and let's flush that side of the box to that side. Let's apply it. There you go. It pops into place, and you hear a nice little sound. I'm actually going to hit escape and show you guys something. So now I can move it up and down, right? Because but I can't move it in or out. So I've removed all of its rotational degrees of freedom, and I've removed 2 out of the 3 lateral degrees of freedom, but I can still move it upside down, which is actually not what I want. I want it all locked into place. So let's do one more flush, and there we go. We'll apply that, and now it will have no more degrees of freedom, right? Can't move. The other one's grounded, so it can't go anywhere. Okay. So here we go. Let's keep on assembling. I might slow down my narration a little bit, but probably not. I'll just keep on talking. So we're going to do a mate here, apply that, and now we are going to do flushes. So I'm kind of falling into this pattern where I do 1 mate and 2 flushes to each of the sides. There we go. Now let's go back into mate, and we will mate that edge to that surface right there. Apply that. And now we will flush that one to that one, apply that, and then we will flush the top to the top, apply that. There you go. Now I have my box sort of constructed here. Now I need to do some stuff with the top. Let's see. So let's do a mate. This one I believe will be 3 mates. We'll mate that surface to this surface right here, apply that. Now it kind of got smashed down in there, so it got kind of hard to see. So I'm going to hit escape to get rid of my joint, and we'll pull it out so we can still see it. Now I know that this surface is mated to that surface. So I'm going to now try to constrain, and I will mate that one to that one and apply. Okay, now things are starting to look a little bit better. It can move up and down again, right? So one more mate ought to do it. And let's choose this one. Let's constrain. One more, once again, mate. Oops, I think I might have clicked the wrong thing. Constrain right there. Okay, oops, I clicked escape, of course. All right, there we go. Mate that one to that surface right there, apply, and it snaps into place. Everything looks good. All right, now we got to do the tricky part, which is to put our dispenser and our rod together and then put them inside the box. So we're going to switch over to using the insert constraint. Now, when you use the insert constraint, you can see a little subtle gray arrow is going to pop up there, right? So I want to insert that into this hole, right? Now, you can see I've got my 2 subtle gray arrows. Now, it's asking me, do I want those to point opposite directions and kind of leave the rod outside? Or do I want them to face the same direction and put the rod inside? I want them to be aligned, which means they're both pointing the same direction. So I'm going to click that there, and I'm going to click apply. Now it goes in. Now, of course, when I designed this, I wanted the rod to be sort of centered and then to go through both of the holes in the box. So I'm going to change it a little bit here. So if we go over to our browser, you can see if I choose my rod and I choose my dispenser, that same insert shows up on both of them. So if I right click and I go to edit, I can edit that that constraint right there, same as I can do with all of my box sides and box tops. should I need to go delete a bad constraint or edit one or make a change in any way, I can get to it through there. You can see your offset right here. So let's see, the rod is 5 inches long, the dispenser is 3 inches long. So I'm going to subtract those, come up with 2 inches. I'm going to do an offset of half of that, right? Because I want that 2 inches of extra tail to be split up evenly on both sides. I'm going to do a 1 inch offset. Let's see what happens. What did I do? Oh, I put 2 decimal points in. All right, there we go. And it kind of went the wrong direction. Actually, it offset, like it pulled it out a little bit instead of pushing it further through. So let's change that. Let's double click on it. And I think I can edit that offset dimension right here. I'm just going to change it to -1. And there we go. That's what I wanted to see. Perfect. Okay. So we've inserted the rod. Now let's put the dispenser and rod into the box. And we will use another insert. Now, I think I'm actually going to choose this surface right here, which is kind of matching up the 2 holes. So there we go. I will choose that one, and I will choose the inside surface of my box here. Now, this is getting a little bit tricky, but that just means we're having fun. I think we'll make this one aligned and see what happens, and we'll click apply. That was wrong. We actually wanted the opposed insert. So let's see here. Let's close our constraints and look at our browser. You could see insert 2 right there in between the box dispenser, because remember we went from the hole, not from the actual rod, and from box sides 2. I think that one's got it, yeah, right there. So I can grab that. And no, I need to change it. So let's edit that. And then we can choose it so it's opposed. And we'll click OK. There you go. Now you can see it's in there. Everything's working. Now, of course, this is not really a great candy dispenser. It still needs a base. It still needs something to keep all the candy from coming out when they're not being properly dispensed, and on and on and on. But I figured, we'll just go with this, not let the video get too long. Okay, so let's grab a look at our view here. Okay, so that view, that looks pretty good. Everything's good. So let's go ahead and save this. Probably should have done that sooner. Kind of forgot about that whole saving thing. Let's call this as box assembled, something like that. And we will save it. All right, now let's go over here. And we're going to explode our box. So let's create a new, let's see. This is actually a presentation. So we're going to create a new presentation, and we're going to pull out the box assembled and input that into our presentation. So here we go. Now we're going to create a new snapshot view. Now we can create storyboards and you can create like videos of it exploding and stuff, which is really cool. We actually used to do that in the past. That got cut out of the curriculum, but it's all good. This will still be a little bit of fun here. So we're going to click on that and name it, and we're going to name it the exploded view or something similar. Something like that. Okay, so exploded view. Now we'll click on that so we're editing. Double click on it so we're editing. Make sure you're editing your view and not just editing your overall thing here, because things will happen. All right, so there we go. There's our exploded snapshot view. Let's click on this tweak components button, and this will allow us to start pulling things apart. So first thing I'm going to grab is the lid. Now you can see I have 3 arrows I can move in, and also 3 directions which I can rotate. Those 6 degrees of freedom right now, I'm getting them back. So I'm dragging it up, and then you can change the number as well if you want. I'm just going to I'm happy with the drag. That looks good. Let's do it. Now you notice that this one's more of like we're pulling it backwards. I don't actually know how that's different. There we go. We'll pull that one apart, grab this one. Now this one, we're actually going to push it backwards. So even though the arrow's not pointing that direction, I still click on the arrow I want, and I can push it backwards. There we go. And now let's pull this all the way out there. And this one, let's rotate this one actually so that now this is a little bit hard to see here. I think this is the way we want to rotate it. Yeah, so that the dispenser part, the hole in the dispenser is kind of facing up. And I messed it up. Okay, I forgot to click save. Okay, rotate it and rotate that, and we'll hit enter. All right, there we go. Now actually the view I want, I think, is that one. I think that's probably my best looking view right there. So let's click, make sure everything's centered, and we'll click Finish Edit View right there. Now, if I click on my exploded view, it brings it back. We'll have to see. Oh, you know what? I think it'll be okay. All right, so Finish Edit View. All right. Now, let's go here, and you'll say Create Drawing View. So this will allow us to pull our exploded view. I know it doesn't look exploded right now. So let's, oh, yeah, we got to save, of course. Let's save this one as box exploded, and we'll save it here. Okay, now we'll create a standard IDW drawing file, open it up, and you can see our exploded view is right there. But of course, we're going to have to do some things to make sure that the view we want is actually represented. Let's see, 1 to 4 scale. This looks a little small. Let's try just 1. I actually think that's going to work out pretty good. We'll drag it into the location that we want, which is kind of the lower left corner here. We do want to show trails. That box is clicked. They're not showing up yet, but I think they will. Let's make sure we want the shading, and I don't think I want hidden lines on this one. All right, let's click OK. And there it is. Now you can see the trails pop up. Oh, and I you know what I forgot to do was test some other views. So let's click that view cube, spin it around. That looks pretty good. I think I will go with that one. I think that was the view I wanted. Okay. So there we go. There is my assembled view. I'm also going to put in there a non-exploded view. So I'm just going to go back to my assembled version and grab that, and we can put that kind of somewhere. Maybe I'll put that right there. Oops, let's make sure the view's aligned so you can kind of see what it looks like when it's assembled. Oh, and then of course I forgot to do that. Okay. Oops, here we go. Okay, assemble.iam. Okay, make sure the settings are all good. And okay, there we go. All right. So we have our 2 views. And now the last thing we need to do is the parts list. Now, some interesting developments here. I've been exploring a little bit and hopefully coming closer to figuring out how to change text size more easily. Let's go over to the Manage tab here, and we'll choose the Styles editor. Okay, and it's telling me the library is read only. Okay. All right, so let's go to table because we're going to be making a materials table. Let's open it up and double click on the table. And let's see, how did I do this? So I think text styles right here, if I click edit and I change my text height to 0.32, which is usually what I go with, and we'll save the edits. Now, if I click on another one, it's also 0.32. If I go back and I click on another one, it's also 0.32, and I click back. And if I go to just something random like leader or, you know, I don't know, dimension, that's the one we've been struggling with. I'm still like, this is just, these menus are like so intense. Display, you know, extension. I'm not sure. I don't even know where to find like all of this. Anyways, all right. So I don't want to get too bogged down. If you change the text on one thing, it seems to have some carryover effect on other things, especially with this table. Things are a lot more legible. Now you can actually see the, let's click save and close. You can see that the text now surrounding the grid on the outside is actually bigger and more legible than it was before. So that is great. So let's do this. Let's go over to annotate, and we're going to make ourselves a parts list. So we're going to select our view here. Let's choose dispenser box exploded because we want to make the parts list from the exploded view. So we'll click that to open it. And okay, all these, yes, we'll enable the bomb view. And here we go. There is our parts list. You can see it's all legible, which is great. It's got the item, the quantity, the part number, the description. All of that is in there. If you want to make changes, you can double click on it. And let's say, for instance, if we want to get rid of the description tab because we don't have anything filled out for the description, you can click right here on column chooser. You can choose description and you can remove it. Now, if you want other things like, you know, anything really, anything at all on here, you can go ahead and put that in there. I don't know what we would need besides this. Let's click apply and okay, and there's our parts list right there. Now, one last thing to do, which is to label the parts from the parts list, right? Like you can see, okay, here we need 2 box sides and we need 2 box sides too, but we're not sure like, okay, what is the box side? What's the box side too? What's, the dispenser, right? So we're going to grab the balloons here, and you're going to click twice, and then right click to go to continue. Click on the part, click again, right click, continue, and right click, continue. Oh, that one didn't turn out the way I wanted. Okay, let's go back. Let's try that one again. Balloon, that, click once, click twice, right click, continue. Okay, cool. So now if I want to do like a little tweak in there, I can click twice and then go to continue. There's one. And I have 1, 2, I'm missing 3. Which one is 3? No, this one. Oh, the base here. So let's see. Let's keep ballooning. Continue, and I might as well just do all the parts. You know what? Actually, no, that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we've got all the balloons on there. We have our exploded view. We have our normal view. We got a parts list. I'm gonna end the video. Good luck.